So let's continue with the discussion of Livelis theorem. So due to the technical error, I couldn't complete the previous video. So it had an abrupt end in between. So let me continue with the discussion, and thereafter we'll go for the proof of Livelis theorem. So we have been considering an arbitrary volume omega of the phase space, and this arbitrary volume is surrounded by a surface which encloses the volume. So the surface is having area sigma. So we consider a number of trajectories passing through the given phase space volume, and one such trajectory is taken here. So this is a reference trajectory here out of many such trajectories passing through the given volume under consideration. Now what we do is that see, these representative points are flowing into the given arbitrary volume omega, and these representative points will be flowing out of the given volume omega. And in order to consider the phase space density, let's imagine a very small surface element of magnitude d sigma. So d sigma is a very small surface element. I'm just shading the surface element here. So it's just like what we do in our Gauss's theorem. We are considering a very small area element. So this is a d sigma. So we can consider that d sigma is an area element, which we do in mathematical, for mathematical convenience, we are treating area elements as vectors. Area itself is treated as a vector. So let me say that d sigma is a vector whose magnitude is equal to d sigma and whose direction is given by the direction of a unit normal vector given here as n. So this is, let me say that this is n cap. So this is a unit vector normal to the given area, which gives you the direction of the area vector. Now see, the velocity vector of the representative point is represented as v here, and in general the velocity vector can make any angle theta with the normal. So let me say that theta be the angle between the velocity vector of the representative points in phase space and the normal unit vector n cap. Now I think I have already mentioned in the previous video that the velocity vector is actually in the 6n dimensional phase space. The velocity vector is also 6n dimensional. So usually the velocity vector in a 3-dimensional physical space can have 3 components, like we can write v equal to vxi plus vyj plus vzk. So in this case, this velocity vector will be having dependence on the derivatives of the qi dots. Okay, so that is qi, the derivative of qi, and also the derivative of what, the pi. So the velocity vector will be a function of qi dot and pi dot in general. Okay, so where I running from 1 to 3, and so we can see the velocity vector in the 6n dimensional phase space also will be having 6n dimension. So this is a 6n dimensional vector in the phase space. So that is the velocity vector over here. Now what we are supposed to do is that if rho is the density function, around the point, say that d sigma, around the point d sigma, or around the area d sigma, we are considering a very small volume, very small elemental volume of the phase space there, surrounding the trajectory under consideration. So which I have represented as a cylinder here. So this particular cylinder is representing an elemental volume. So this is a cylindrical volume we have taken for convenience in calculations. So let's say that let d omega be the elemental volume, so that d omega will be equal to, so we can say that it is in general it is equal to d raised to 3 n q and d raised to 3 n p. So that will be d omega, right? And let's say that rho be the so this one be the volume element, and the total volume of the relevant region of the phase space is omega, which is an arbitrary volume. Now, and let sigma be the phase space density as usual. Okay, phase space density at a relevant region, phase space density of the region. So sigma is a function, so it's a function of qp as well as what, t. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to calculate the rate at which the number of representative points in the volume omega increases with the time. So you know that the representative, when somebody is, suppose that there is an observer here, okay, at a particular location of the phase space, an observer is observing, okay, then we can see that if the observer is moving along with a particular representative point, if a observer is moving with a particular representative point, then he will be able to observe the local density of representative points around that particular representative point. Okay, so let's say that we are considering the observer somewhere here, and as large number of representative points are flowing into the phase space, there will be representative points also what is flowing out of this particular region omega, because there is no any source or sink for the representative points within the arbitrary volume. So since there is no any source or sink in the volume, we can expect that the rate of inward flow of the representative points into the region will be equal to the rate of what outward flow. So we will be calculating the rate of flow of representative points into the volume. So we can say that the rate at which, so this is what we are going to calculate, rate at which the representative points, I'm writing RP for representative points, in the volume, what is the total volume, that is omega, increases with the time. So we call that one R in, something like that. Okay, R in. So it is, you know that, okay, the large number of representative points are flowing into the volume, and so that is R in. So we can write this R in can be written as dou by dou t of, I will write the equation, thereafter we will explain it. What is the motivation behind writing such an equation? Integral over omega, the relevant region of the phase space, rho d omega. So this one will be the rate of inward flow of representative points. Okay, so let me put it as equation number 1. And now you can wait a bit and understand how come this equation. Okay, you know that it is the rate of flow of representative points. So by the definition of, so let me do a side work here. So for our understanding, the definition of rho, the phase space density function, rho is equal to d, number of representative points per unit volume. So dn by d omega, right? So therefore you can see the number of representative points dn will be equal to rho into d omega, just cross multiplying, right? So therefore what will be total number of representative points in any volume, okay, omega. So that will be n will be equal to integral over the relevant region of the omega into what? The quantity dn, that is rho d omega. And you can see that you take the derivative of this one, you will be getting dn by dt, or I can say that it is nothing but the rate in, R in. So why we have taken dou by dou t, because rho is a function of several other variables, qp as well as what, t, and we need the time derivative only. So we are taking the partial derivative instead of the total derivative here. Okay, so that is equation number 1. Now you know that, okay, the number of representative points are flowing in, and also the number of representative points are also what, flowing out. So we are now interested in the net rate at which the representative points flow out of omega. So now the next thing is that net rate, net means total, okay, through the entire volume. Okay, so you consider that the rate of flow through the entire volume. Okay, as we have been doing in our okay, what do you call Gauss's theorem calculations and all, we are depending on integration to calculate what is the total flow or total flux, is it not? Actually the flow is otherwise known as flux. Here it's a flux of representative points. Flux is another term used for flow, So net rate at which the representative points, net rate at which the representative points flow out of omega, flow out of omega. You have to understand that omega is an arbitrary volume shown by some arbitrary shape here in the diagram. Okay, and you know this omega is surrounded by a surface. Omega is surrounded by or bound by the surface, or it is flowing across the surface, you know. Okay, whatever representative points will be flowing out of omega will be crossing the surface sigma. Okay, sigma, we call that one as R out. For the time being, I'm just using some symbols, R out, and I'm writing an equation for R out, which we will try to understand later. So R out is also given by an integral. So certainly it is a surface integral. I'm writing it as a surface integral. Okay, because this is the surface which bounds the volume omega. So surface integral of rho v, v is the velocity vector as we have shown the diagram, v dot n cap d sigma. So you know this integral is with respect to this is surface integral, and first one in the equation 1, the integral is a volume integral. Okay, so here d omega it is taken in integral number 1, and yeah, it's d sigma which is a surface integral in the equation. So how come this equation number 2? I think we can just represent that one as a side work later. So if you want, you can do it here itself. See that this deviation should not distract your flow of derivation. So let me do a side work here so that we can continue later. So let me do it like this. So this is just a side work. We'll see, just keep apart the main derivation. So how come this rate R out is obtained like this? For that, let's consider, so here you can see that there is a particular cylindrical volume is considered here. So the same cylindrical volume, I'm just drawing it here. So let me draw it straight. Okay, in order to suit the space here, let me draw the same cylindrical volume like this. And how come this cylindrical volume? Okay, you know that. So this is this particular area is what? D sigma, right? This is D sigma, and we have considered that see, let n cap, so this is the direction of n cap, which is the direction of d sigma vector, and so this area is magnitude is d sigma. Okay, and let's say that the flow, right? Okay, so the flow is happening like see that let's say that the see, better I will make this one a bit slanted, just pardon me. I'll make it a bit more slanted, it's better. That will do in a different manner, you know, to avoid confusions. See, okay, yeah, just a moment, I will redraw that one. Yeah, so let me do it like this, you know, to get a clear idea. See, suppose that the representative point is flowing like this. Yeah, okay, so the direction of the flow of representative point gives you the direction of the velocity vector. So I'm just saying that this is the velocity vector direction. Now see, I'm considering an area, and the area is taken to be, see, in a general format, let me say that this is the area, let this be the area. Okay, so it's an arbitrary area, and so what we'll be doing is that we are constructing a cylinder, we are constructing a small cylinder. Okay, is it not, with the trajectory of the representative points as the axis. So you can see that this particular area, whose magnitude is d sigma, will be having, it will be having a normal vector which is slanted, which may make some angle theta with the velocity vector. So this is a general case, and there are many cases where both n and v are parallel, so theta equal to 0. So in general, it can make any angle. Okay, so for example, see that suppose that here you are taking in this diagram, if you are taking an area here, maybe the n vector is like this, but maybe okay, the flow is like this, so the velocity vector is like this. So can't you see that there is an angle theta here? But in this case, see, if here you take an area, you can see that here the see, the normal vector and the velocity vector both will be parallel. Okay, so in general we can say that v and n are making some angle, so that we can see v, if you take v dot n, so it can be equal to v itself if theta is equal to 0, and v dot n will be equal to 0, that is the flux. Actually it is a flux, is not? Okay, so that if what, theta is equal to 90 degree. So this is usually what we do whenever you calculate the flux, because you know flux depends on the orientation of the surface, right? I don't know whether I explained it in the previous video, it was there. Okay, you know that if you are keeping a circular ring see in a flowing liquid, right? Suppose a river is flowing down and you're keeping a circular ring in the direction of the river flow. So depending on the orientation of the ring that you are keeping, you know, there may be maximum water coming or maximum water flowing through the ring, or if you keep it perpendicular to the direction of flow, the maximum amount of water will be flowing through the thing, right? And if you keep the plane of the ring parallel to the direction of flow of the river, you know that there won't be any flow through the ring. Okay, the flow will be just parallel to the ring, right? So if in any angle in between, means there will be some certain amount between maximum and 0, right? So in order to get that idea, we are treating all the areas as vector quantities. So we assign it. It's for mathematical convenience and for matching with the physical reality. Okay, so this is the reality that we are having. So now let's see how to get this particular equation number 2, that was our A. So let me do one thing. Let me, for the time being, just let me make some modifications over here. So this is clear, I think. So just let's take that during a time dt. So how come this particular cylinder? So during a time dt, how much distance the representative point would have moved? So suppose that the representative point was somewhere here initially, and after a time t, the representative point has reached here. So the distance traveled by the representative point during the time t will be, of course, is equal to the velocity of the representative point v into what, the time interval dt. So the cylinder, this imaginary cylinder, is made by calculating the distance traveled by the representative point during a time interval of what, dt. So let's take that this is dx or some equal to dx equal to, so that is equal to v dt. Now right, so what will be the volume of the cylinder? So the volume of this elemental cylinder, I can call it as d omega as usual, because omega is a total volume. Okay, d omega, that will be equal to, you know, it's a cylinder, right circular cylinder. You can treat it as a right circular cylinder. So it will be equal to the height into the area. So that will be, I can write this one as v dt, which is nothing but the height. Okay, so into what, the area is what, d sigma, right? So that is the elemental volume. Now therefore, therefore we can say the number of representative points flowing out through this volume, number of representative points flowing out through this particular volume, ഈ വോളിയത്തിലൂടെ കടന്നു പോകുന്ന representative പോയിന്റുകളുടെ എണ്ണം dt സമയത്തിനുള്ളിൽ. Therefore I may call that number as dn. You know how to get dn? Dn is, by definition of rho, it is rho into d omega. Okay, because already we have seen that rho is equal to dn by d omega. So dn equal to rho into d omega. So what I can do is that I can just multiply, so that will be equal to rho into d omega. We have already obtained, that is equal to v dt into what, d sigma. And what we are interested? We are interested in what is the rate of outward flow. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ഈ d സിഗ്മ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സർഫസ് ഏരിയയിലൂടെ പുറത്തേക്ക് ഒഴുകുന്ന റെപ്രസെന്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റുകളുടെ എണ്ണം. ഓക്കെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ റേറ്റ്. therefore the rate of outward flow through d sigma, d sigmയിലൂടെ പോകുന്ന, okay, so I'll call it as some r dash. So that will be equal to, what do you have to do? That will be equal to dn by dt. dn by dt. So that will be equal to, you can take this dt, okay, getting cancelled, or you can take dt to the other side. So you will be getting that as just simply rho v d sigma. And in order to get the vector nature, in order to bring the vector nature of flow, we rewrite this equation as v, instead of v I'm writing it as v dot n. Okay, you know that this is a scalar now, okay, whose value will be equal to v or 0 or in between, depending on the orientation. So v dot n എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മളിവിടെ v എന്ന് പറയുന്ന മാക്സിമം വാല്യൂവിന് പകരമായിട്ട് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നതാണ്. Okay, so that is all once again a scalar. It's a scalar product. So into what, the sigma into d sigma, right? So that is into d sigma. Now, but what is this r dash? R dash is the rate of flow of representative points through this, only this d sigma. ഈ d sigmയിലൂടെ പുറത്തേക്ക് ഒഴുകുന്നതിന്റെ വാല്യൂ മാത്രമാണ്. പക്ഷേ നമുക്ക് എന്താ വേണ്ടത്? We need the net rate നെറ്റ് റേറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഡി സിഗ്മയുടെ മാത്രമല്ല ഈ ഒമേഗയെ സറൗണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന മുഴുവൻ വോളിയത്തിലൂടെ മുഴുവൻ സർഫസിലൂടെയും കടന്നു പോകുന്ന കിട്ടണം. സോ വാട്ട് യു ആർ സപ്പോസ് ടു ഡു, യു ജസ്റ്റ് മേക്ക് ആൻ ഇന്റഗ്രേഷൻ. What type of integration? So certainly it will be a surface integral over the entire surface area sigma. Okay, therefore we got the R out. R out is obtained by integrating this R dash, okay, over the entire okay area sigma. So you got, I think, can just understand that this equation is same as what you see right here, right? So that is the way in which you get equation number 2. Okay, fine, I think, right? So you got two equations. Now see just what we will be doing. Okay, we can just convert. You know that we are using a vector divergence theorem, right? So using vector divergence theorem, we can rewrite equation number 2 into a equivalent volume integral, you know. Okay, so by Gauss divergence theorem in mathematical physics, you know that any surface integral can be converted into an equivalent volume integral with the condition that the volume that we are going to take should be enclosed by the surface under consideration. Okay, so since the condition is satisfied here in our case, since sigma the surface area is enclosing the volume omega here, you can convert equation number 2 into a volume integral, and you know how to do that. Okay, so let's see how to just do that one. So I'm writing equation number 2 is by divergence theorem. So if you want, you can just add it like that, by divergence theorem, by Gauss divergence theorem, whatever it is, by divergence theorem, vector divergence theorem. So equation 2 I'm going to rewrite. How come that equation 2? So equation 2 was the surface integral over sigma rho v dot n. See that when you write these equations, you recall the diagram in mind. D sigma, see that it's over sigma, so it is d sigma. That can be written as equal to an integral over omega. Which omega? The enclosed volume. You know how come that? It is divergence theorem. Divergence means del dot. So it is del dot of that quantity. Which quantity should come? Certainly the quantity rho v. Rho is you can treat, okay, no, rho along with v. So the thing is that rho v, okay, so this is a vector, you know, of course rho v is a vector, d omega. So that is the just conversion. So let me say that this is equation number 3, where we have to particularly mention one thing, where what is this del? Del we know, maybe we can just say that del is the okay gradient operator, but remember this del here is the what will be the dimensionality of this del? We have seen that we are dealing with a 6n dimensional phase space. 6n dimensional phase space. Okay, so since it is 6n dimensional phase space, the velocity vector will be 6n dimensional. I told you already. Okay, so velocity vector is what? 6n dimensional, right? 3n dimension for qi and 3n dimension for pi. So whatever gradient operator which is operating on this velocity vector must also be what? 6n dimension. So we have to mention that del is the 6n dimensional gradient operator. Okay, so it's hypermathematics, but you can always extend your ideas. So 6n dimensional gradient operator. 6n dimensional gradient operator. Okay, so how come that one? We will just show that. Okay, because usually what is del? Del is equal to, in 3 dimension I'm writing, it is I dou by dou x plus what? J dou by dou y plus what? K dou by dou z, right? So this is the way in which, because it is 3 dimensions, that is the thing. Now in the case of see what you call this particular 6n dimensions, what will be there? There will be something with respect to qi and something with respect to what? Pi, right? Like I and j, there will be what? See, like x and y, there will be what? Qi's and what? Pi's. So that I will show in the coming discussions. So now that is equation number 2. Sorry, equation number 3 modified. Now you know that there is no any sources or sinks in the phase space. ഓക്കെ അല്ലെ, നമുക്ക് സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ അങ്ങനെ എന്താണ് ഈ സ്ട്രീം ലൈൻ ഫ്ലോ ഒക്കെ പറയുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെ ഈ ഒരു പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ഒമേഗ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ റീജിയൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ പുതിയ റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റ് ഒരിക്കലും ഉണ്ടായിട്ട് വരില്ല. കാരണം എൻസംബിളിൽ എല്ലാ റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റുകളും നമ്മൾ ഓൾറെഡി കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. അപ്പോൾ പുതിയൊരു റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റ് ഉണ്ടായി വരാൻ പാടില്ല. മാത്രമല്ല ഓൾറെഡി ഫ്ലോ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റ് ഒരിടത്തും എന്താണ് അദൃശ്യമാവാനും പാടില്ല. സോ ദർ ആർ നോ സിങ്സ് okay or sources inside the region omega. നമുക്ക് എന്ത് പറയണം, ഈ റേറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്തായിരിക്കണം, ഓർ ദ ടോട്ടൽ നമ്പർ ഓഫ് റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി കൺസേർവ്ഡ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് പറയാം റേറ്റ് ഇൻ ഷുഡ് ബി ഈക്വൽ ടു റേറ്റ് ഔട്ട്. അതിൻ്റെ ആർഗ്യുമെന്റ് ഓർക്കണം, സിൻസ് ദർ ഈസ് നോ source or sink of representative points, source or sink of representative points, okay, in omega. So we should be able to say that R in should be equal to R out. That is equation 1 should be equal to equation number 3. That is, okay, I'm just equating. What is equation number 1? R in, that was dou by dou t of, just get the meaning please. It was the rate of increase of, okay, representative points into the volume omega rho d omega, that is dn. Okay, so by the time I got it, so that should be equal to equation number 3. Okay, that is R out, that is integral over omega del dot rho v d omega. Okay, is it enough? No, there should be a modification. What should be the modification? You know that R in is increasing, so that will be a positive quantity, and R out is the number of representative point or the rate of representative point that is flowing out, so that will be a negative quantity. So in order to make it algebraically correct, okay, since it is flowing out and the other one is flowing in, okay, in order to make it algebraically correct, sign wise correct, so I should be putting a negative sign over here. So that negative sign is put over there. So now you know okay, both the integrals are over the same volume omega, so I can put it together. I'm taking the RHS to the LHS and putting integral as common, so it will be equal to integral of, I'm taking common things as common, integral over omega dou rho by dou t plus, what is the other thing remaining, del dot rho v plus del dot rho v. Okay, so that is a common term, that is d omega integral, that should be equal to what, 0. So we call that equation number 4. Now this is time that we just okay, I'll say stop a bit, pause in between. Why? Because if you look at this equation carefully, you can understand that this equation is quite identical. This equation is quite identical to something. Okay, so or see that let me put up one more argument, right? What's the argument here? You know, the integral of some integrand is equal to 0 over omega. That's the meaning, right? And we have been telling that omega is any arbitrary volume. അല്ലേ, ഒമേഗ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഏതൊരു വോളിയം ആവാം, ആർബിട്രറി വോളിയം ഓഫ് ദ ഫേസ് സ്പേസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് ഒരു പ്രത്യേക വോളിയം എന്നല്ല. അപ്പം ഏതോ ഒരു ആർബിട്രറി വോളിയം എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിലൂടെയുള്ള പിന്നെ റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് പോയിന്റ് ഫ്ലോയുടെ ഒരു ഇൻറ്റിഗ്രൽ എടുത്തിട്ട് അത് 0 എന്ന് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണ്, അത് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ആ വോളിയത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേകത ആയിരിക്കില്ലല്ലോ. എന്തായിരിക്കണം, അത് ഇൻറ്റിഗ്രാൻഡിൻ്റെ പ്രത്യേകതയായിരിക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഏതൊരു വോളിയത്തിന് ഈ ഒരു ആൻസർ കിട്ടില്ല. സോ ഇഫ് ദിസ് ഇൻറ്റിഗ്രൽ ഹാസ് ടു ബി ഐഡന്റിക്കലി 0, ഇറ്റ് മീൻസ് ദാറ്റ് ദ ഇൻറ്റഗ്രാൻഡ് ഷുഡ് ബി, മീൻസ് ദ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ഇൻ ദ ബ്രാക്കറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഇൻവേരിയബിളി 0. ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ബി ഐഡന്റിക്കലി 0. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ്, ഐ ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് ദാറ്റ്, what is the integrand, dou rho by dou t plus what, del dot rho v is equal to what, 0. Let me call this one as equation number 5 for the time being. And this equation, I think that should be a very familiar form of this equation. You might have seen similar equation in mathematical physics or electrodynamics. Okay, hope you remember. Okay, you have seen an equation like this, dou rho by dou t. Certainly you would have seen this one place, plus del dot in your electrodynamic classes, del dot rho, okay, oh sorry, del dot j, right? Okay, that was you have been doing in electrodynamics. So del dot j, where j is the current density, okay, that is equal to 0, right? And what is this equation known as? And this equation is known as the famous continuity equation. Okay, so this is nothing but the continuity equation. Remember, the continuity equation is an equation, general equation satisfied by such streamlined flows. Okay, not only in electrodynamics, it repeatedly comes in what many other fluid dynamics. So here it's the case of the flow of representative points, which is quite virtual. So remember, so this equation 5 can be considered as the continuity equation for the swarm of the representative points. Okay, continuity equation. See, we are very near to the proof of Lively's theorem. Hope you remember what is the mathematical form of Lively's theorem. So it was stating that d rho by dt is equal to 0, and d rho by dt is equal to 0. D rho by dt can be shown as equal to that I will be showing in the next video, dou rho by dou t plus the Poisson bracket of rho with h. plus the Poisson bracket of rho with h. Okay, so here you can see that this particular, instead of this particular thing equal to 0, we have got equation number 5. So anyway, we are happy, we should be happy because you got at least this term, okay, in the equation. So what will be our next task? Your next task will be to just prove that this del dot rho v in equation number 5 is equal to the Poisson bracket of rho h. If you are able to prove that, then certainly we are able to finally conclude d rho by dt equal to 0, which is nothing but the proof of what Leibniz theorem. So since the video becomes a bit lengthier, let me stop it here. Otherwise, there are problems that I have faced in uploading. Thank you.